Did the poke taste good? Oh, okay. That's great. So let's just wait. Just gonna wait a little bit more until our next people come in.
So for a little bit of background about our next speaker, she's really passionate about improving literacy rates for kids all around, and it's called Book the Future.
She's also the vice president for the Creative Writing Club at Interlake High School.
So let's welcome Andrea Liao.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? Let's try that again. Okay, so my name is Andrea, and I'm a junior at Interlake High School. I'm also the founder and president of Book the Future, an organization dedicated to global youth literacy. So before I begin, I have a few questions I'd like to ask. Does anyone here like to read? Oh, that's awesome. What are some of your favorite books? Let's raise your hands. I'll pick someone. Yeah, you.
Dragon Pearl.
Say it again.
Dragon Pearl.
Dragon Pearl? Oh, cool. And anyone else want to share? Back there in the white? Say. Oh, The Land of Stories. I love that book. That series. Anyone else? In the blue?
Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, A Wrinkle in Time. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Cool. One more person. All the way over there, next to the whiteboard. Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Never mind. In the gray? Oh, Harry Potter, my favorite, obviously. Yeah. So, how often do you guys read? Does anyone want to raise their hand? Yeah, in the front? 5 hours a day or in a week? How often?
I think I read
5 hours a week? Awesome. Anyone else? Over there next to in the red, I think? Or next to the red? Sorry, what? Every day? Okay. Anyone else? Over there in the green? Or next to the green? 2 hours a day. Okay, cool. So that was a trick question. If you hadn't already guessed, you assumed the question was how often do you read books, but the question was actually how often do you read, to which the answer is every day, right? That was pretty cliche, I know. So as for me, I love to read. I've always believed that literature presents various avenues to explore new heights, as there is so much to learn and so much to experience with literature. Literature shaped my childhood, which is why I'm such a passionate advocate for youth literacy. So now I want to clarify the definition of literacy. Literacy is the ability to read or write. It can also be defined as competence or knowledge in a specified area. However, there's a difference between being literate and being functionally literate. According to the definition provided by UNESCO, someone who is functionally literate, can engage in all the activities in which literacy is required for effective function or necessary to community development. Okay, yeah. So my first encounter with the issue of youth literacy occurred a few summers ago. I was a mentor at a summer literacy camp designed to support students from disadvantaged backgrounds, including students from low-income homes and students with special needs. The students I taught were in the 3rd to 5th grade range, so they were around 10 years old. Although I came into this experience knowing that the students were behind reading level, I wasn't prepared for the initial shock of my first day. The students struggled to read and comprehend basic picture books, and meanwhile, reading comprehension activities caused their attitudes to turn from disinterest to active dislike. As a result, it was difficult for me to organize any sort of classroom activity. Instead, I did my best to make reading fun for everyone. At first, I found it difficult to understand why the students didn't enjoy the stories, since I have always been such an avid reader. But then I realized the students didn't like to read because it took them so much effort to process the words that it took away from their enjoyment of the story. I understood that feeling. I've convinced myself out of several activities for the same reason, including ballet, singing, and basically any sport ever. Can anyone relate? Yeah? Yeah. So, after stumbling upon this realization, I got to work immediately. I began to study youth literacy, determined to take action in addressing the issue. So, while researching, I came upon a study conducted by the Washington State Literacy Association, in which students from low-income homes were invited to participate in various book distribution programs and summer literacy camps. The results of the study indicated that students who were provided a variety of reading materials demonstrated improved literacy skills and significantly higher academic motivation. After coming upon this study, I decided to go to the library in search of books that might not be turned away at first sight simply because they were books. So I looked for fun books like Avengers comics and Disney picture books, just books that were more familiar to students in like pop culture and that sort of stuff. I wanted to emphasize the aspects of reading that were fun in the hopes that the allure of a good story might overpower the effort it took to comprehend the story. The next day, to the delight of the students, I was able to bring these books to class, and I was pleased to find that they were excited to explore the stories. And the next week, I was able to coordinate a field trip to the library, where I discovered that most of the students didn't actually own their own library cards, and most of them rarely ever even visited their local libraries. They were really thrilled at the idea of owning their own library card, and they were excited to have the opportunity to pick the books they wanted to take home and read. It was this experience, more than anything else, that shaped the progress we made throughout the rest of the camp. The students not only became more confident about their ability to read fluently, but they also became more eager to participate in academic activities. So this experience left a really deep impact on me, so I decided to reach out to UNICEF and learn more about the consequences of illiteracy. Literacy is the single most important factor in determining a person's future. It sets the foundation for lifelong development, and children who read frequently have larger vocabularies, more advanced comprehension skills, and stronger cognitive development. Literacy, as you can see, literacy significantly enhances a person's ability to understand and apply information, as well as make accurate decisions. However, on the other hand, illiteracy is directly linked to poverty and unemployment. The negative long-term impacts include welfare dependency, limited career mobility, and poor health. Lacking vital literacy skills will hold people back at every stage of their lives. As a result, as children, they will be unable to succeed in school. As young adults, they will be locked out of the job market. And as adults, they will be unable to support their own children's learning. So illiteracy is something that creates an intergenerational cycle that obstructs socioeconomic mobility and perpetuates social stratification. Okay, so now that we've covered the issue, I want to talk about ways to take action, and also I want to discuss the importance of advocacy. So during interviews and at events, I always find that people are interested in learning more about how to take initiative on an issue that they're passionate about and how to expand their efforts to affect greater change, which is awesome. So I discovered that it's important to follow your passions and act on them to create positive change, as exploration is a critical component of problem solving. So for example, my organization is called Book the Future because I believe that accessibility to diverse literature has the ability to empower youth. To empower youth. Currently, Book the Future is partnering with the World Literacy Foundation on the Sun Books Initiative, which seeks to merge technology and education. So basically, they've developed solar-powered educational tools, including ebooks and electronic learning activities, which are designed to support literacy, enhance literacy in remote communities in support of the children who live there, as tablets can serve as an alternative to physical books. So through this partnership and many other partnerships, Book the Future hopes to ensure that literacy is not merely a privilege, but a fundamental right. So now I'd like to hear from the audience. What are some of the causes you're passionate about, and what are some ways you can take action and address them? Do I have any volunteers? Yeah? Ocean pollution? Okay. What are some ways you can take action in addressing that?
Like walking. Plastics and everything.
Yeah, so like small actions to create greater change, right? You can also like organize events on the beach to pick up plastic and maybe offer some sort of a reward for people who are helping with the effort. Yeah. What are some other causes we're passionate about? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, gun control.
Yeah, definitely. What are some ways you can take action?
I went down to the Washington State PTA and got it on their lobbying platform to talk to the legislator about it.
Yeah, awesome. And we also had the march last year, right? Did anyone go to that march? Yeah? Okay. Anyone else have any causes they're passionate about? Yeah, right there. Say it again. Industry? Wait, sorry. Animal agriculture. What are some ways you can take action? 2 years ago? Awesome. What are some things you did? Mhm. Awesome, yeah. Obviously, you start out by doing research so you really understand the issue before acting, and start in your immediate community. So you can always start small and then expand from there, right? That's what I did. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I really appreciate the time you've taken today to listen to what I had to say, and I'm constantly inspired by the passionate youth I meet at different events. So thank you for listening. Thank you to everyone who shared, and yeah, it is time for us to reach greater heights, like the meme, for a more educated and literate youth, and the future really is in the hands of the youth. So yay!
Thank you, Andrea. That was a very impactful presentation. I hope you guys aren't tired yet, because our next speaker was actually part of the youngest group to ever bike across the Silk Road.
He worked to lessen stereotypes in the community